At just 11 years old, she became a murderer, shocking the world. Mary Bell, a name that would forever be etched in the annals of crime, committed the unthinkable. Her victims? Children even younger than herself. The quaint town of Scotswood, England, would become synonymous with her horrific acts, forever scarred by the darkness she unleashed. 4-year-old Martin Brown became her first victim. A seemingly innocent encounter on a May afternoon in 1968 turned deadly. Mary, with a chilling detachment, strangled the young boy, leaving his lifeless body in an abandoned building. The community was shaken, a palpable fear settling over the once peaceful neighborhood. Little did they know, the worst was yet to come. 2 months later, the unthinkable happened again. The community was still reeling from the first tragedy, trying to piece together their shattered sense of security. The air was thick with fear and uncertainty, parents holding their children a little tighter, and whispers of the unspeakable acts that had occurred filled the streets. 3-year-old Brian Howe was lured to his death by Mary and her accomplice, Norma Bell, no relation. The innocence of childhood was once again marred by an act of unimaginable cruelty. Brian, a sweet and trusting child, had no idea of the danger that awaited him as he followed the two girls. The details of his murder, even more brutal than the first, sent shockwaves through the community and beyond. Brian was strangled, his small body unable to withstand the violence inflicted upon him. The news spread like wildfire, leaving a trail of grief and horror in its wake. The community, already on edge, was plunged into deeper despair. His body bore marks of torture, a grim indication of the suffering he endured in his final moments. The brutality of the act was incomprehensible, leaving everyone questioning how such evil could exist in their midst. The scars left on the community were not just physical, but emotional, a constant reminder of the darkness that had touched their lives. A pair of scissors lay near his body, a chilling testament to the brutality inflicted upon him. The scissors, an everyday object, had been transformed into an instrument of horror. The sight of them sent shivers down the spines of those who saw them, a stark symbol of the violence that had shattered their sense of normalcy. The crime scene was cordoned off, a small area now forever marked by the tragedy that had unfolded there. Police officers meticulously examined the scene, searching for any clues that could explain the senseless act. The community watched in silence, their hearts heavy with sorrow and fear, knowing that their lives would never be the same again. As authorities closed in on Mary, the weight of her past began to unravel before their eyes. The investigation revealed a life steeped in sorrow and pain, hidden behind the walls of a seemingly ordinary home. The unsettling truth of her upbringing came to light, painting a picture of a childhood marred by neglect and abuse. The home, once a place meant for safety and love, had become a prison of despair. Her home life was a breeding ground for darkness, where the shadows of her past loomed large. The dilapidated house, with its overgrown garden and broken toys, stood as a silent witness to the horrors that unfolded within its walls. Neglect and abuse were her constant companions, shaping her world in ways that would leave lasting scars. The disheveled living room, the dark corners where she sought refuge, all told a story of a young girl lost in a world of pain. Her mother, alleged to be a sex worker who often forced Mary to participate, subjected her to unimaginable trauma. The lines between love and exploitation blurred, leaving Mary to navigate a world where trust was a foreign concept. The trauma she endured was beyond comprehension, leaving deep emotional wounds that would take a lifetime to heal. The fear in her eyes, the tears that fell in the shadows, all spoke of a childhood stolen by the very person who should have protected her. The seeds of Mary's disturbing behavior were sown early on, nurtured by the very people who should have protected her. The disturbing images she drew, the broken dolls she played with, all were manifestations of a mind trying to make sense of the chaos around her. Nurtured by the very people who should have protected her, Mary's life was a tragic tale of innocence lost. The tight grip on her shoulder, the tense moments in shadowy rooms, all were reminders of a childhood that was anything but normal. Her story is a stark reminder of the impact of a toxic environment on a young mind and the resilience it takes to survive such darkness. Psychiatrists who examined Mary painted a chilling portrait of a child devoid of empathy, a psychopath in the making. Her disturbing lack of remorse for her heinous crimes sent chills down the spines of seasoned investigators. How could a child so young possess such a capacity for cruelty? Was she born evil? Or were the horrors inflicted upon her the catalyst for her monstrous transformation? Deemed unfit to stand trial as an adult, Mary was sentenced to indefinite detention in a young offender institution. The court grappled with the complexities of her case, a child who had committed unspeakable acts. Her sentence, a reflection of society's struggle to reconcile punishment with rehabilitation, sparked a debate that continues to this day. At the age of 18, Mary was released, granted a new identity, in an attempt to shield her from the notoriety of her past. The world, however, has a long memory. Her story continued to captivate and horrify, a stark reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of childhood innocence. Mary Bell's case ignited a firestorm of debate surrounding the age-old question. Are some children born evil, or are they products of their environment? The horrific nature of her crimes, juxtaposed with the horrific abuse she endured, painted a chilling portrait of the complexities of human behavior. Decades later, the name Mary Bell continues to evoke a sense of unease. Her story is not just a tale of a troubled child, but a chilling reminder of the complexities and dark corners of human nature. The events that unfolded in the late 1960s left an indelible mark on society, raising questions about innocence, evil, and the factors that shape a young mind. Her story serves as a haunting reminder of the vulnerability of childhood. The innocence of youth, often depicted through the lens of purity and joy, can sometimes mask deeper, more troubling undercurrents. Mary Bell's actions force society to confront the uncomfortable reality that children too can harbor darkness. The toys and trinkets of childhood, symbols of innocence, became eerie reminders of the potential for malevolence and the potential for darkness to take root in the most unexpected of places. The quiet neighborhoods, the seemingly safe spaces, all became backdrops to a story that defied understanding. The shadows cast by a child's hand, the unsettling drawings, all pointed to a reality that was hard to accept. How could such darkness emerge from such a young soul? It was a question that haunted everyone who heard her story. It is a story that continues to haunt our collective consciousness, a narrative that refuses to fade with time. The flickering streetlights, the empty playgrounds, all serve as metaphors for the lingering unease that Mary Bell's story evokes. The grainy footage of children playing, once innocent and carefree, now carries an ominous tone, a reminder of the fragility of innocence and the ever-present potential for darkness, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable reality that sometimes the monsters we fear the most wear the faces of children. The distraught faces, the tear-streaked photographs, all tell a story of fear and confusion. How do we reconcile the image of a child with the actions of a monster? It is a question that lingers, a question that forces us to look deeper into the nature of evil and the innocence of youth. That sometimes the monsters we fear the most wear the faces of children. The half-shadowed faces, the silhouettes in dark hallways, all serve as chilling reminders of the duality of human nature. The eyes peeking through the door, filled with both innocence and potential for darkness, leave us with an unsettling question. How do we protect the innocence of childhood while acknowledging the potential for evil that may lie within?